This is PB Flower, and today's topic is human problems. As a species, we have come a long way in our quest to understand the world. Knowingly or unknowingly, we have secured the top spot on the food chain. Our social nature led us to artificial societies that shield us from immediate threats from nature. Our sheltered life has given rise to human problems. But we already know that. Um, I believe that anything that doesn't bother any other species is a human problem. And for convenience, here are the top 10 of them: loneliness, boredom, disappointment, unfairness, peacefulness, mental, physical well-being, financial, professional crises, and companionship and relationship, fitness, and livelihood. Now, no other species stresses over any of these issues because they don't have time to think. They don't have time to stop and think that they're lonely or, what's that they're in a bad health. They just keep going. They just keep moving. If they don't, they'll be eaten up. And even if they do have these kinds of problems, I'm not going to assume that they don't have such problems because I don't have any way to communicate with them or them to communicate with me. So even if they do, they must still fend for themselves or succumb to them. Human problems are intangible. And I think most of us know that too, that if you go and sit down and try to, point them out, what your problems are, eventually you'll come to a point where you can't really count them on your fingers or you can't really pinpoint them, but it is still something that bothers us. And they lead us to other ideas without actual products, services, or goods, such as faith and belief systems. We can look for social connections through social media or dating websites. And, when I spoke about faith and belief systems, these gurus or any kind of religion or even cults, they all fall under that. So when you're alone and you have all these intangible problems that you can't really pinpoint and solve, you turn to these because they are also the same. They don't have tangible services to give or tangible solutions to give. And so it sometimes works well until you actually realize that they aren't. So even the democratic governments actually, and even if you don't have a democratic government, there are leaders who provide many other ways to cope with human problems, unless you have dictatorship. Yet, there is no real solution to human problems. Because, like I said, human problems intangible, human problems are immeasurable, and we can only see their impact and effect on us. Basic needs are much easier to take care of. If one is hungry, food will solve their problem. A starving person won't have a preference, but will eat anything unless you're not actually starving or you have the liberty to say, I'm not going to eat that even if I'm starving. So if one is homeless, they wouldn't be shopping around for houses. All they want is a roof over their head, and that shall suffice if it protects them from the natural phenomena. If one is without clothes, they will not care for designer brands. Anything to cover themselves will do the job. When our basics are taken care of, we then enter the realm of human problems. Social media has added, I'd say, another layer by making us vulnerable without even any physical contact. All these trolls, and I've been trolled. too. I'm a victim of it, and I sit there and I wonder, what have I done? But I have put myself out there. My work is publicly released, so I can't avoid it. I can't avoid it. I have to learn to take it. So, is there a solution in sight for human problems? Because that's the biggest question, and we've had that question for thousands of years. Now, you'd be surprised that no one actually wants to solve human problems, because if that happens, how are we going to feel alive? I mean, various businesses, institutions, facilities will become bankrupt. Moreover, happiness is uninteresting. If you really think about it, it is uninteresting. It is boring. It's unidimensional. So you're definitely going to get bored if you are always happy. We want problems to say to ourselves that we exist. It validates our existence, because then we are in conflict with everything else. So we want to also cry about them with the others to make our presence felt to them. If we are just happy and we don't have a need to talk to anyone, or we don't have any need from anyone, we are not dependent on anyone, how would they know that we exist? Now, somewhere we also want a unique problem to feel special, because it gives us an edge over the others. I have, I want to share this because I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer years ago. It's been a decade now. And I told someone, one of my friends, and they were trying to tell me that this doctor that they know, they happened to discuss my problem with them, and this doctor said, "Oh, that's the best cancer to have." And I just didn't know how to wrap my head around that, because I was like, okay, so I'm supposed to have the worst cancer? I mean, what did it mean? Because I still had to go through a lot because of it, and I'm still struggling because of it, because um, I'm dependent on a pill every day. First of all, that's the first thing. The first thing, I get up in the morning, I take that pill because I have to. Otherwise, I'll start losing my hair. I'll start breaking out. I'll start gaining weight. So there are so many problems I still have because of it. So I'm just saying, I'm not trying to get an edge over the others by trying to say my cancer is also worse. But I'm just saying that that statement just baffled me. And now we have learned to keep pushing with human problems by distracting ourselves. Like I said, we go and look for gurus, or we just don't even want to acknowledge that we are going through something. Many get into addiction because of that, to numb their pain or to take their minds off overthinking. While some others, they become physically and verbally abusive, to transfer their troubles to others. Some are unable to completely cope up with it, and they become depressed. They either hide their problems in public by acting, that they are okay, or they completely isolate themselves. Or worse, they check out of the world. Not all side effects of human problems result in negativity, though. So, these all these philosophers actually are a byproduct of this issue. It is another thing that they don't solve anything, but still, it's nice to hear another perspective. So now remember, no one wants to solve human problems, but they still want to talk about it, because that's what gives it the continuity. Solution is the end. And so nobody wants a solution. Therefore, let's continue with our human problems.